What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron,
It's Brian.
and this is the Courtside podcast. And we are back today, and we are discussing the NBA trade deadline. We got a lot to discuss because, oh my gosh, one of the craziest trade deadlines in the past 5 to 10 years. This was insane. Wednesday, I was going absolutely insane. I was doing something, and all of a sudden, I see a bunch of people in the group chat talking about, oh, this person gets traded, this person gets traded, Anthony Davis gets traded. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And we are here today to discuss it, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get on with the big trades. I want to start off with the Washington Wizards because this is Brian's team. We are in the nation's capital. We got to talk about the hometown team right now. And the Washington Wizards made a blockbuster trade. Excuse me, tongue twister. Let me share my screen real quick. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right. Where are we? All right. Here we go. The Washington Wizards. They traded for Anthony Davis. That's the big name. They also traded for D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum, Jaden Hardy, and all they had to give up was 2 first-round picks that are going to most likely be late first-round picks unless Golden State somehow just completely becomes disruption or whatever it is. Anywho, but they didn't really need to give up much of significance. They gave up Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Tyus Jones, Marvin Bagley the third, and some second-round picks as well. Brian, I got to ask you this, man. What is your thoughts on the Washington Wizards trading for Anthony Davis and those other players?
Okay, so at first, I was at work when this news broke, so we had to pivot and talk. Actually, no, I was not. Yeah, I actually was. I was at work when this news broke, so I was like, first when I saw it, I was like, we traded for Anthony Davis. I said, oh, what is going on here? What did we give up? Then I saw this was before what the years the picks were or whose pick it was got revealed. So when I saw 2 first-round picks, I was like, what are we doing? So I was tripping. I was like, oh, man, this is foolish. This is why we trading first-round picks and we rebuild. But then I saw it was the Thunder first-round pick, which is going to be 29 to 30 most likely. Then I saw it was the 2030 pick that is top 20 protected that the Warriors have. So I was like, you know what? This is a good trade. I was okay with the deal. AJ Johnson, he was getting more play because we're trying to lose on purpose. And so we had to, he raised the stock value a little bit. Marvin Bagley has been playing solid for the whole year, but I believe he's a free agent this off season. So he may just re-sign with us again like he did the last time. But yeah, I like the trade. You know, you get a not young, he's old, but you get talent. This team is strapped for talent. And when you get a guy like Anthony Davis on the team, though he doesn't really play much, I think I just saw a report from Chris Haynes saying that he's not going to play this year, pretty much. And so, I mean, it falls within the timeline. This shows me they're trying to compete next year. They said, listen, we're going to tough it out this year. We're going to try to get one of those top 3 picks in the lottery, get a guy that can be a franchise level player. And then next year, we're going to start trying to play winning basketball and play meaningful basketball for the entire year. So I have no problem with this trade. You turned Chris Middleton and CJ McCollum pretty much into Trae Young and Anthony Davis. I can't complain about it at all. So I do like the direction Michael Winger and Will Dawkins are going with this team. They seem like they have a real plan, and this trade falls within the timeline of what I think their plan is. So, hey, they're done trying to play lottery games. And they said after this year, they said, listen, we're done trying to play the lottery after this year. We're really going to try to get out there and compete. And you need talent. You need veteran leadership if you want to develop these young guys and really try to make some noise in the East these coming years. So, hey, I like the deal. Anthony Davis will come in. He'll provide some much needed mentorship for a guy like Alex Sarr, who still has he's pretty good his second year, averaging about almost a double-double, but he still needs some offensive work. AD, he's a multi-time all-defense team. So this is good. This is good. I like the deal. I like the deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see how healthy he can stay next year. That's always a pain point
Big
with
if.
Anthony Davis. But if we can get 70 games, 60 or 70 games out of him, I count that as a win.
Yeah, you're being too hopeful about that one.
I
I
know,
would
but
say if he can provide any semblance of winning basketball to this team, meaning impact on defense and offense for at least half of the season, let's say that. And he's still there playing towards the end of the year. I think that's a win in my book with Anthony Davis on the squad. And if the Wizards are able to get a top 3 pick in this year's draft, that is a home run. So you add whoever it is that you may get from this year's draft with Anthony Davis, with the young guys that you already have, you're really building something for the future. And I like this trade. At first, I was a bit confused because of the 2 first-round picks. But as you mentioned, once I understood the details of the trade more regarding the picks, I was like, you know what? This is good. This is all good because, again, the young players aren't getting paid a whole lot. Like, they're not impacting the salary cap too much. So adding a big contract like Anthony Davis to the books won't really hurt you too much. And then you're also going to bring in another young, talented player from this year's draft. So I really like this deal. I really like what the Wizards are building towards the future. There is a plan in place. It seems like they are getting maximum amount of value for the players that they acquired, either via free agency, via trades, and they were able to use that and get maximum value back. And you got Anthony Davis, who is an all-time great player, still a very productive player when he is healthy. He just has to be healthy. So I really like this trade a lot. D'Angelo Russell, do you know, is he still on the squad or did he get cut?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure actually. I can try to look it up.
Yeah.
But last time I think I checked the day after. I didn't see any movement, but let me see what they're saying now. Oh, there you go. No, they said still says he's on the team. So
Okay. Okay. So he's still on the
yeah,
team.
he's still on the team.
Jaden Hardy's probably still on the team, and Dante Exum.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. But
Shoot,
yeah,
you
I
might
like
need
the trade.
D'Lo if you want to be a tank. If you're trying to tank.
Yeah. Given where you guys are now, and then the fact that Anthony Davis is sitting out for the remainder of the year, I think the Wizards are like, hey, we'll take D'Lo. Help us tank for a higher percentage chance to get a number 1 pick. So yeah, man, this is great. This is great for the Wizards overall. Moving on, we got another blockbuster trade I want to show. Let me find it. Where is it? So many damn trades. I'm trying to scroll down.
It was a lot of trades. Some of them was just
of,
kind of meh, but
yeah, it was a lot of trades. All right, here we go. Share my screen again. Oh, okay, we got the Cavs adding James Harden, and they traded away Darius Garland and future 2nd round pick as well. They also traded for some other guys as well, if I can find that. Here we go. They acquired Keon Ellis, Dennis Schroeder, Emmanuel Miller. I think they also got rid of DeAndre Hunter. He went to the Sacramento Kings, which was very surprising. I think they got rid of, I want to say Lonzo Ball as well. I think Lonzo,
yeah,
he's
they
not on the
did.
team. He's not on the team as well. I forget who they traded him for, but yeah, man, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they made a lot of moves. Here we go. Jock Landale. Okay. I don't know who that is, but whatever.
Either.
But this was a 3-team trade. I'm not quite sure who the Cavaliers got in return, but yeah, man, Lonzo Ball's going to Utah. I think he may have gotten waived by Utah, and so yeah, that Cavaliers made a lot of trades. And to me, this wasn't surprising in terms of the Cavaliers going out there and trying to get better, because like I mentioned not too long ago, and then earlier in the season, I looked at this Cavs team and I'm like, I don't think they're good enough. Scratch that. You know what? I'm not. I said they're really good, but they have a lot of major flaws, and one of them was Darius Garland. Now that he's out of there, they bring in James Harden, but they upgraded with James Harden. But I'm still not sold. I'm still not sold. So, Brian, I'll let you continue. How do you feel about the moves the Cavs has made in the trade deadline?
I think getting off Darius Garland was a good thing because I think I just saw something the other day that says he has to play with like a plate in his shoe or something like that, which is not a good sign for a young guard like that, where his game relies on quickness and being able to get by people. And when he ain't providing nothing on the defensive end. So if you won't have someone that's not going to provide anything on the defensive end, at least upgrade it with a guy like James Harden, who ain't going to play much defense, but at least he's a bigger dude and he can do just the same things Darius Garland could do and at least could score on his own. So I like it from that standpoint. I'm just interested to see if Harden is going to be willing to play that 2 role to Donovan Mitchell. He should, because I think Donovan Mitchell is the better player as it stands right now. But I need to see how that Harden ball and D Mitch ball is going to work come playoff time, because we all know Harden can shrink in these playoff moments, but Donovan Mitchell is a playoff riser in my opinion. So we gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to see how that team chemistry works. I wonder, will Evan Mobley be getting more involved, because James Harden is more of a passer in this late stage of his career than a pure scorer like he was back in his heyday and MVP years. So, but yeah, I'm interested to see how this works. I'm still like, they did get better in my opinion, because they definitely got better, because getting rid of DeAndre Hunter, he wasn't really doing much of anything for them. And I thought he was going to be a big player for them after they traded for him last year. Didn't really pan out all too well. They got Keon Ellis as well, he's not like super productive or anything, but he can be something to put into the right system. So I'm interested. The Cavs got a lot more interesting with this. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm looking at James Harden's stats right now. His efficiency isn't there, but he's averaging 25 points a game. I want to say he's averaging 8 assists a game, 1 steal a game. He's still a very productive player, 90% from the free throw line. So he's still a really productive player as a scorer and a passer. My thing is, like you mentioned, how is that going to work with Donovan Mitchell? And defensively, I believe James Harden, obviously his upside defensively is better than Darius Garland, because his size and his athleticism is definitely a plus compared to a Darius Garland who's only 6 feet tall and coming off of those major injuries as he's had over the years. But the playoffs, it's still the playoffs. The playoffs with me for James Harden, he's just shown time after time after time that in the playoffs, when the game slows down and when it gets very physical, he tends to not rise to the occasion. He tends to fall to the occasion. So that's my concern, is like James Harden, as good as he is, when the playoffs roll around, I don't think he's going to all of a sudden rise to the occasion and be a major plus to this team. Now, I will say, though, getting off of the James Harden aspect of things, I do like who they acquired. You mentioned Keon Ellis. He was actually somebody that the Lakers were eyeing to trade for. They also brought in Dennis Schroeder, who he could still score as a point guard. He could still give you some firepower off that bench. I'm not too familiar about Emmanuel Miller, so I don't know who that is. But Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder, I think that's a good plus for them off the bench, because Lonzo Ball, let's be honest, he's cooked. Like, there's the injuries have really taken a toll on his body, and he's just not a productive player anymore. And then DeAndre Hunter, he's been a disaster on the Cavaliers ever since he got traded from the Hawks. So those two players being added to the Cavaliers, that adds depth, that adds guys that they can provide certain things that they were missing. So I like that for the Cavaliers because it raises their ceiling, in my opinion. The Harden move and then Schroeder and Ellis, that raises their overall ceiling. I'm just wondering when they match up against a team that's very physical, very athletic, like the Detroit Pistons, what are they going to do? Because we're going to get to them a little bit later, but the Detroit Pistons, you can bring in whoever you want. If your team is not able to match their physicality and their energy on both ends, you're not going to beat them. So even though James Harden is a plus versus a Darius Garland, and Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder are a plus compared to the other guys that they have, is that enough to all of a sudden put you above the Detroit Pistons? I don't think so. And that's where I'm at with it. Do I think this elevates them to maybe the second best team in the East? Absolutely. Because I'm looking at the Knicks right now, and they just came off an 8-game win streak, and then they got their ass whooped by the Detroit Pistons, albeit without OG Anunoby and Karl-Anthony Towns. But they didn't have Jalen Duren, and they put the spanking on them. So, like, I think Cavs, this elevates them to the second best team in the East, but that doesn't mean that they can all of a sudden compete consistently against a team like the Detroit Pistons. So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, in my opinion, because the Knicks, they definitely need some help.
Yeah.
Internally.
Yeah, for sure. We got some other moves. We got some other big moves. The Utah Jazz. This was days ago. This was before the trade deadline, but like a couple days ago, they traded for Jaren Jackson Jr.
They did.
So it seems like Memphis, they are going full rebuild mode. They traded Jaren Jackson. We already mentioned the other guy, and some other people that I never heard of. In Memphis, they get Walton Clayton Jr., they get Kyle Anderson, they get Taylor Hendricks, Georges Niang, and 3 future first-round picks. This trade, I ain't gonna lie. I don't see the logic with this one for Utah. I don't care that, we got Ace Bailey, we got this guy, pair them together. Now we can have a core. You gave up all those future round picks, 3 future first round picks.
Are they their own picks or other teams' picks?
It doesn't say. It
Okay.
doesn't say. So it might be theirs because it doesn't say whose first round picks they are. It just says 3 future first round picks. So I believe these are their first round picks. So you traded those 3 future first round picks for basically Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm sorry, man. I don't like this trade. I don't. I think Jaren Jackson Jr., his archetype of player, I don't think is that valuable in today's NBA. He can stretch the floor. He's a decent defender, but he can't rebound. He can't handle the ball. He's not one of those guys that can handle the ball. He can't initiate your offense. So I don't see the significant value of Jaren Jackson Jr., especially when you're a team that is not ready to compete. Like, you're still rebuilding. So I don't see the value of Jaren Jackson Jr. with the Utah Jazz. How did you feel about this trade?
Like you said, I'm indifferent about, like, I don't know if this is like a move. Here's the thing. So they got Walker Kessler, they got Lauri Markkanen. I don't know who's playing the center, who's somebody gonna have to come off the bench unless you're gonna have Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Walker Kessler out there on the court at the same time. But this is interesting. I think what they're trying to do is they're just trying to get talented players so they could possibly compete next year. They're going to try to do the same thing the Wizards doing, play the lottery, hopefully turn, like Brian Windhorst said, turn the car back around and try to start competing next year. But Jaren Jackson Jr., like being that guy, like a core piece player, I don't know about that. I don't know about him being like the top dude on your team currently. I just don't see it. He doesn't even rebound, for crying out loud. And I don't know. This is an interesting trade. I'm not sure what Danny Ainge is cooking, but I don't know. I need like a Jazz media or fan to explain the logic for this one, because this came out of left field for me, because I'm like, why are they trading for him of all people? Not saying he's a bum or anything. He's a good player. It's just I didn't know he fit in their timeline.
Yeah, me either. If this was Bam Adebayo, I'd be like, okay, I could understand that a little bit, because Bam, he's a better scorer. He can do a lot more different things. And I think he's a more versatile defender than Jaren Jackson Jr., and he's a significantly better rebounder. I'm like, okay, Bam Adebayo, that makes sense. But Jaren Jackson Jr., nah, I don't see it. I don't understand the logic with this one.
The picks they sent were the Lakers pick for next year, the most favorable of the other first rounders the Jazz own in 2027. So either the Utah Cavs or Timberwolves, and the Suns 2031 first round pick. So not that valuable,
I guess. Yeah. I guess, man. I guess. I'm just not a big believer in Jaren Jackson Jr. in this stage of his career. I think that his game has kind of died a little bit. I think if this was the 2010s, if this was the 2000s, I think he would be significantly more valuable. But in today's game, I don't see that much value in his archetype of player. He's a power forward, right? In today's game, like a lot of times, like power forwards play like wings. You know, like you have Tatum that's playing the power forward position, but Tatum can handle the ball and shoot from the outside and can get to any spot. Jaren Jackson Jr., he just seems like that old school power forward that is kind of dying in today's game. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's move on. So the Pacers, they acquired Ivica Zubac from the Los Angeles Clippers.
They did.
And they traded away Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson. They also traded away 2 first-round picks, the 2026 first-round pick and the 2029 first-round pick. This was...
Wait, the Pacers 2026 pick?
Yeah.
Are they drunk?
That's what it says. It says via Indiana.
Oh my goodness!
Via Indiana. Yeah, that's what it says. Okay. Matter of fact,
pull up Tinkathon because some.
Let me share my screen right now. That's what it says on NBA.
Oh, I think it's a protected pick.
Ah, that makes sense. So it has to fall like at a certain range.
I believe so.
Does it say what range it falls on? Has to fall on to be the
it's
Clippers
top
pick?
4 protected.
So if the pick falls from 1 to 4, Indiana gets the pick.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay. That's still a lot for Zubac.
Zubac is good though.
He is good.
He is kind of like hurt guy.
Yeah.
As of lately.
But my thing is like with Indiana, you're gonna get what's his name? Tyrese Halliburton back. Gonna get him back. That's a good pairing. You got a really good center with him. The pick and roll is gonna be really nice because you lose Miles Turner, but you bring in Zubac, who's a really good center who you can do a 2-man game with. My whole thing is that, man, this coming draft, even if you're outside of the top 4, I think there are some valuable players in this draft that
There
you could
are.
have utilized for your team. So the fact that you just said, all right, we're going to trade the 2026 first round pick, I feel like that's a bit risky, but I do like the fit. I don't know who Kobe Brown is. I've never seen him play,
Me either.
but yeah, man, like, that's tough. But how did you feel about this trade? Do you think this is a good trade for the Pacers? Do you feel like this is a good trade for the Clippers? Like, where are you with this?
I think it's a better trade for the Pacers than it is the Clippers because if the Pacers if they do get in that top 4 pick, you can add now. You can be like, okay, we don't really have to reach for maybe. We don't have to take it opens up their options because now you don't have to worry about center being a pick or anything like that. And Zubac, this is a next year move, obviously. So I like you replace Miles Turner with essentially Zubac, and
Who's better?
you know, yeah, exactly. I'll take that. So they're gearing up to compete, being ready to compete next year. I have no problem with the deal. But if they lose that top 4 pick, that's going to be a little brutal.
Yeah.
This is a loaded draft class, so they must be confident they'll remain in that top 4. So hey, they must plan on being one of the bottom 3 teams.
All right, and then the Boston Celtics, they also made a huge trade. They traded for Vucevic, and they traded Anthony Simons away. Yeah, they traded for Vucevic, which is interesting.
I know they needed a center, but Vucevic of all people, I don't like him. He don't play no defense.
That's true. Yeah. I think he still has enough offense. I think he's still a pretty decent offensive player for them. I don't think it hurts them at all. I think this is a positive move for the Boston Celtics. The fact they were able to get him for only Anthony Simons and a 2nd round pick is a win in my book. And they also got a 2nd round pick back from the Chicago Bulls. So they effectively just traded first round picks. It's just different. It's just different years. So I think this is a win for Boston. I'm surprised they were able to make this move. They got very fortunate. Nikola Vucevic, he's still a really good player. Despite his defensive limitations, you can still figure out a way to acquire, I don't know, another center via free agency or so, or via trade later down the line that can help you in the event that you need to sub out a Vucevic for defensive purposes. So I think all this does is just add to the Boston Celtics rather than deplete anything that they had in the past. So I like the move. It's another offensive piece that they can add to their chessboard. And when Tatum comes back next year, oh my God, the Boston Celtics are going to be really, really hard to beat. So this is a good move for the Boston Celtics. I hate it. I hate that they got better, but I got to give credit where it's due. They did their thing, man. They did their thing.
Yeah, gotta give him a good salute. That was a good acquisition.
Yeah. And then here's a trade that happened between the Timberwolves and Bulls, and it's Rob Dillingham. Boy, oh boy. Rob Dillingham. What happened? We thought
undersized, doesn't play defense, not a great passer. Wasn't really good at the one thing he was good doing at college. He just didn't translate.
Man. He had all that potential, all the hype coming out of Kentucky. We thought he was going to come into the league, be a really good one-on-one player, somebody that they can rely on with handling the ball, with scoring, because he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting, so he needs another guy on the perimeter that he can go to in the event that he's being doubled, in the event that he's on the bench. And Rob Dillingham just couldn't provide that for them. It's unfortunate. After two to
And
3
they traded
years.
up to get him, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They spent a ransom to get him, and it just hasn't panned out. They got back. I know these two players. They're pretty decent. Like these are two pretty good role players. They'll definitely add value to the Minnesota Timberwolves because they need more depth pieces. But man, Rob Dillingham, he was supposed to be a significant piece to their team, and he just could not do what's necessary to be a valuable player for the Timberwolves. And I know this. I understand it. I can empathize with what the Timberwolves are going through because it's the same thing that happened with the Lakers and Dalton Connect. Is these players they come into the league, you think so highly of them, you think they can add so much value to your team, and it ends up that they don't know how to do the basics, how to do the basic things that you need, setting screens, coming off of picks, doing all the little things that you're supposed to know coming into the league, and it turns out they don't know, and they never did any of that stuff at a high level. And Rob Dillingham, Dalton Connect are example of guys that just couldn't do the most basic things right, like playing defense, just providing things outside of just scoring the basketball. It's a terrible sign, man. It's a terrible sign. But speaking of the Lakers, we might as well talk about this. We traded for Luke Kennard. We finally got rid of Gabe Vincent, thank God, because I could not stand that man. He was holding us hostage. He was a all-time disaster free agent acquisition. Luke Kennard, he's not a good defender. We all know this, but he's an elite three-point shooter. He provides something that we don't really have outside of maybe one person on our team, which is Roy Hashimura, which is an elite three-point shooter, a guy that can get buckets. So I like the trade. I like the acquisition. We didn't really have to give up much. We only gave up Gabe Vincent and a second-round pick. This isn't a move that's going to raise our ceiling. It's more so going to raise our floor. And he's going to be a piece that we're going to need to use next season, probably. So I'm not mad at the deal. We couldn't really do much this trade deadline. It's a small piece, but I like who we acquired. It was a smart move. And this move really showed this is just how bad Dalton Connect has been for the Lakers. The fact that we drafted you to do the same thing that we effectively traded for Luke Kennard to do, which is be an elite three-point shooter. Dalton Connect, this is on you. Like this is a bad sign.
Nobody wants Dalton Connect.
Nobody wants, and there was a report that came out that he demanded a trade.
Mm-hmm.
If nobody wants you, how are you gonna get moved and nobody wants you?
What coach just said, in order for there to be want to be traded, has to be a market. I forgot what coach. It literally just happened not too long ago. But yeah, it's like that. Like no one's going to trade for you, buddy. Like you pretty much quit on your team. Nobody wants a quitter in their locker room. And you're what? You're a second or third year player. What is he?
He's a second year player.
Second year player asking for a trade. What GM wants that on their team?
No GM wants that on their team. So
and you're not even producing on the court. So what exactly are what an interested team be even looking forward to in that moment? And you were a first round pick, so you gonna get paid more money than what you're producing for. So no team is touching that.
And you got to remember he played all 4 years in college.
He did.
So it's not like he has a high ceiling coming out of college. A 4-year guy, normally they don't have a high ceiling. So you're a bad player and you played in college for 4 years. So you don't even have that excuse of, potential. This guy, he'll figure out one day. No, you're a finished product. And the fact that you're a finished product and you're playing this bad, you can't even get on the court because you're that bad of a defensive player, and on offense, you're not making shots consistently, and you're not doing the things that the coaching staff is asking for you.
You know that quote JJ Redick said guys didn't know how to do certain things. I'm pretty sure he was talking about him.
Absolutely,
Considering he played 4 years in college, you should know how to do certain things.
And he only played 1 year at Tennessee, but still though, like the fact that you don't know how to do these things, and even when you're being taught this in the league, you're not executing it how the coaching staff wants you to execute it, is concerning. So, yeah, this is just this trade fully showcases how much the Lakers, specifically JJ Redick, does not trust Dalton Connect at all. He's like, give me somebody that can do exactly what I want them to do. When I tell them to set a screen a certain way, when I tell them to come off a pick a certain way, when I tell them to do X, Y, and Z, they are going to do it. Dalton Connect, for whatever reason, he doesn't understand what JJ Redick is telling him to do. So, anywho, I mean, there's other trades. There's still some other trades that are. Jonathan Kuminga finally got traded. Finally, it's over. We can finally put this to bed. He got traded to the Hawks, and the Warriors got back Kristaps Porzingis, which I'm gonna be honest, Warriors, this is an all-time disaster.
The Warriors might be one of the worst ranked teams in the league currently.
So they traded Buddy Hield and Jonathan Kuminga for Kristaps Porzingis.
You traded your top asset in any potential deals for Kristaps Porzingis.
PU.
That is just straight up malpractice, organizational malpractice. Mike Dunleavy needs to be fired this offseason for what he's doing in that Warriors front office. That is unacceptable. Then they was trying to trade Draymond. Nobody was going to trade for Draymond. He's going to be a free agent this offseason. Like they don't know what they're doing. The Warriors just simply don't know what they're doing. It's sad to see because this was a perennial championship team and organization, and now look at them. The moment Steph leaves, they're going back to the Baron Davis days and prior to that.
Nah, they're going. It's going to be worse. It's going to be after Baron Davis, before Steph. It's going to be the Monte Ellis. It's going to be the Monte Ellis days, where it was that time. Matter of fact, during the time when Steph used to get injured all the time, and the team was just really bad. Yeah, it's going to be that. It's going to be that. Yeah. Whew. I'm not sad at all. I love it. I love how dysfunctional their organization is. I love Bob Myers. If there's one thing about Bob Myers, the smartest thing he did was he left as soon as it looking like it's going off the rails. He left. He got the hell out of there. Literally, the minute he left, this team imploded. They completely went downhill once Bob Myers left. And salute to Bob Myers, because I know one thing. I think he did not want to trade away Klay Thompson. He didn't want to be the guy that has to make those decisions. And he was very smart because
he saw the ship starting to sink. He said, "Oh, let me get up out of here."
I believe one of the things that I heard was I think the owner's son being more involved. It was something that was being reported in regards to the ownership and what they're doing and how it has derailed the Warriors' ability to do certain things. And part of that was, I believe it may have been the Warriors, like one of the owner's son being involved in more front office affairs. Whatever is going on over there, God bless. Keep doing it because I love it. The stuff they're doing it's just dumb. It's just dumb. And Steph Curry, hey man, honestly, you gotta leave. You're not gonna win a championship being on the Warriors. I'm gonna be frank with you. You're not gonna win a championship because what they're doing right now.
2022 was the last one.
You're not going to win a championship. What they're doing now is completely against any semblance of a winning mentality. Trading for Jimmy Butler like how they did wasn't going to be a high enough ceiling, and then he gets hurt this year. It's like, oh my god, everything went down the drain from there. But I love it, man. I love it. I love it. Anywho,
Sucks to suck.
it sucks to suck. Yeah, I think that is really all the trades I really want to talk about. I mean, there's not really much else to.
Yeah, all the
Really
other deals were just like mini like
small,
salary
man.
dumps or whatever and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's not much else to really talk about. Yeah, all right, man. Well, that is the trade deadline. Those are our thoughts. I want to also discuss some things regarding teams that we talked about last week, the Rockets, and I want to talk about the Pistons, and I want to talk about the Knicks. So I want to talk about the Rockets first because they played the Charlotte Hornets 2 nights ago, and they looked awful. I just finished watching their game. Literally everything I said from the previous podcast showed itself that game. Matter of fact, you know what? The losers of the trade deadline, easily the Rockets. Easily. Because the Rockets, they needed to, one, find a point guard that can initiate the offense, and two, figure out a way to open up the floor for a guy like Kevin Durant, a guy like Sengun to operate. Because when you watch their team play, there is no spacing on the court. It is so cluttered because they have their 3 top guys. The only guy that can spread the floor consistently is Kevin Durant, while the other 2 can't shoot to worth a damn. So if we have to look at losers of the trade deadline, it's easily the Rockets. They didn't address anything. They didn't improve anything. It seems like they felt like there was nothing they could really do to improve this team, which is disappointing. It seems like they're waiting on Fred VanVleet, but I don't believe he's going to play this season. I don't believe he's going to play in the playoffs.
No.
So
I don't think so.
I guess they're just waiting for next year. But Kevin Durant is like 38 years old. So, like, how many times can you really just punt the season and say, let's just go for next year? So that's where I'm at with it.
They're in the bad position as it stands right now because they just like
talk about it.
The Amin Thompson,
yeah,
non-shooter, really only good for defense, and sometimes he gets his face fried off. So, but you can't provide almost nothing offensively and then get cooked time to time on defense. You gotta have to be like a lot. You got to be Tony Allen if you ain't gonna provide nothing on the offensive end. Sengun, again, not moving his feet on defense. You get him in the pick and roll scenario, you're gonna blow right past him. And then KD still has to be, he's 37 years old, still has to be the number 1 scoring option. Who wants to do that? And then Reed Shepherd, he's productive in the minutes he gets, I guess, and he's an efficient shooter, but he doesn't, again, defense, he doesn't provide much on that other end. Jabari Smith Jr., very streaky player. Some games he's hot, some games he looks terrible out there. Tari Eason, I don't know what he does on the court out there. I'm going to have to watch some more games and pay him attention because I don't really be noticing him out there. And then the bench depth, I don't know who comes off the bench for them.
Reed Shepherd, Clint Capella.
Yeah,
that's about it.
That is not ideal.
Tari Eason. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they can do. They just gonna have to. They honestly they look worse than they did last year. I'm just keeping it a stack. They were better last year. I'm sorry.
Because they had more shooters. They had more shooting. They had VanVleet. They had Dylan Brooks, and they had Jalen Green. You have those guys on the court. Okay, at least you got to respect them somewhat. But now there's a significant lack of shooting outside of Kevin Durant and Reed Shepard.
Did you see what the Spurs did to them
Yeah,
defensively?
yeah. We talked about it last week. We talked about it last week, and I said, "Yo, that fourth quarter," because the Rockets were actually playing pretty well in the first 3 quarters, and then the Spurs in the fourth quarter, they locked that shit up.
They said, wait a minute. We can just sag off Amin and sag off Sengun and just face guard KD and the whole offense just collapses. Huh. And then everybody else started doing it after him, and it was like, oh wow, this actually works. And Ime Udoka, he ain't off the hook either, because that man don't got it. They have no offense. Like, what is their offensive scheme? I can't tell you. Ime Udoka just be out there telling them to play. And throwing players under the bus in the post-game interview.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, let me tell you something. Somebody going to have to get traded between Amin or Sengun. Because as it stands right now, them two, they can't work on the same team. Unless you have all other shooters on the court, which they don't. So somebody has to go.
I agree. I agree with that. And I think you might hear rumblings of maybe Giannis to Houston. Don't be surprised if you hear Giannis rumblings. Just because, again, like those two guys together, it just doesn't work. And you mentioned Ime Udoka. My whole thing is that what more could they really do? Because the personnel you have on the floor, it doesn't matter what plays you call. The teams are going to guard you the same. There's not much you could really do on the court, no matter what play that you call, that's going to change the outcome of what's happening right now. Unless you bench somebody and then bring in somebody in the starting lineup. But I believe they tried to do that with Reed Shepard, in terms of giving him a certain amount of minutes, and he's very hot and cold in his shooting. He can provide some offense. He can stretch the floor, but defensively, he's such a liability that do you want him on the court for a long, extended period of time? And the answer is no. So the Rockets, they have their ceiling is just not very high, man. Like we understand what they are. We understand that when they get to the playoffs, they could win a playoff series, but second round rolls around, they're going to get exposed, and that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, If we have to pick a loser in the trade deadline, it's easily them. There's no question about it. Also, I want to talk about the Pistons because we mentioned this before about the Pistons and how good they are and how physical and how great of a defensive team they are. Well, last night they played the Knicks, the top two teams in the East, first and second seed team. Now, the New York Knicks, they were without Karl-Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby, so that's going to hurt their offense, obviously. The Detroit Pistons were out Jalen Duren, who is an all-star caliber player for them.
Like the
very
second
important
best player.
Yeah, obviously. But the Detroit Pistons, they put a whooping on the Knicks.
Gave him belt.
They gave him belt to ass last night. It wasn't even particularly close. I'm gonna tell you this: like literally halftime, the game was pretty much over. Like the Detroit Pistons had that game won by halftime. That's how bad it was. The Knicks offense, they couldn't generate anything. Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, name it.
Oh my goodness, what a disaster class.
If I'm the Knicks, I'm doing whatever I can to avoid the Detroit Pistons in the playoffs until the conference finals because they are a bad matchup. They can't match up with the Pistons because they have the defenders to defend Jalen Brunson because Jalen Brunson, he's an undersized guard. He's not very athletic. He uses his strength to create for himself. Like, he's very strong for a small guard. That's how he's able to get his shot off. That's how he's able to create for himself. But when you're going up against the Detroit Pistons, they got a lot of athletic guys. They got a lot of guys that are very strong and athletic and very long in terms of their width. It's not going to work. So against the Detroit Pistons, they were on an 8-game win streak, Brian. 8 games. And then they go to Detroit and they get their ass whooped by Detroit. They bring them back. They humbled them, like, hold on now. We saw you just beat the Nuggets the other night in double OT, but we're a different breed. We're the number 1 seed for a reason. Let me humble you guys real quick. Let me put you down. Let me put you back down to earth. And that's exactly what they did. The Knicks. I don't care. I don't care if they had Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby. They would have not beaten the Detroit Pistons that night. Because what the Detroit Pistons do, it doesn't matter if you have Cat and OG on your team. They're still going to be the more physical basketball team. They're still going to be the more athletic basketball team. They're still going to be the team that is going to disrupt whatever Jalen Brunson is trying to do, because they have the on-ball defenders. They have the size. They have the athleticism, the physicality, everything you need to match up against this New York Knicks team. It's just a bad matchup. So what is your thought? What is your thoughts on this game? What is your thoughts on the Knicks? What is your thoughts on the Pistons? How you feel?
The Pistons, they probably was out for blood because they just lost to the Wizards at home. To the tanking Wizards at that. They was trying to lose that game as hard as they can, and the Pistons still couldn't win. So they was just like, man, this is some bull. We're gonna have to get right and get back. So the Knicks came to town and they put the beats on them. And I know you said no Cat, no OG, but like you said, they were missing their second best player in Jalen Duren. So yeah, man, this is, like I said, you said it all pretty much. It's a bad matchup for them. They just can't match up with the Pistons as of right now because they lack the physicality. And Mike Brown doesn't really have an offense for them. And when he did have an offense, when the players complained, and then they had to revert back to playground basketball. So, like I said, they better hope they don't run into him in April.
They have no shot of beating the Pistons if they match up in the playoffs. Because they're, I'm not going to call them soft, but they're not a very physical basketball team. And their best player, they have an answer to defend their best player. And it's not like Mike Brown is calling plays to disrupt their ball pressure. Pause. So, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. If you're not going to make the necessary adjustments, if you're not going to call certain plays to disrupt whatever defense they're calling to make your offense not flow properly, then I don't know what else more they can do. They're just cooked.
Beats me.
They're just cooked. Simple as that. I'm trying to think what else. I want to bring this up. Transitioning. We mentioned the Rockets. I was talking about the Rockets-Hornets game. I got to give credit where it's due to the Charlotte Hornets. I didn't know this, but they're on an 8-game win streak.
Yeah.
And I was watching that game against the Houston Rockets. They're a pretty good team, man. They're a pretty good team. I'm like, hold up.
I think they're starting to buy in. I think they're buying in, and they hooping.
Guys are getting healthy.
Knuckle, great pick for them. He's doing wonders for them as a rookie. LaMelo Ball's playing winning basketball.
Yeah.
They figure something out.
Guys are getting healthy too. That's another thing. LaMelo's healthy. Brandon Miller's healthy. Miles Bridges. All these guys are healthy. And I'm like, damn, they got a squad. They got guys that can rebound. They got guys that can block shots. They got guys that can make shots. I'm like, damn. I'm like, okay. You know what? I see it. I see the potential. I see it. They're the 10th seed right now. Hey man, they pretty damn good, bro. I got to give credit where it's due, bro. I was very shocked. I was like, damn, the Rockets lost to the Hornets, and then I watched this game, and I'm like, the Hornets are a pretty good team. They're athletic. They're athletic. They can hit shots. They got a lot of talent. They're pretty big. They're pretty tall, pretty big. Like guys all around are like 6'4" and above. This is a pretty good basketball team.
Yeah, they got talent, man. They got talent.
They beat the Spurs. They beat Philly.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Magic. Like these are good teams. They beat the Nuggets on the 18th.
And they just added Kobe White too.
They beat my Lakers, of course.
Yeah.
They beat my Lakers. Hey, this is a good team, bro. They beat the Thunder, but this was like a while ago. It was like the 5th of January. But still, like man, I am surprised, bro. Salute to the Charlotte Hornets, bro. I gotta watch more Charlotte Hornet games now.
Yeah.
These guys could actually hoop.
Yeah, and their young team too.
Yeah, they beat some really good competition. Like you can't fake the success that they've had over the past 2 weeks, beating the Spurs and the Rockets and the Magic. Like that's not, and the Philadelphia 76ers. Like that is not no cupcake. Those are legit teams. So, yo, this impressed. They got a bright future, man. I don't normally talk about the Charlotte Hornets, but hey, when a team is winning, we talk about teams that are winning when they are warranted the respect, or if they in the news for some reason, we got to talk about them. And the Charlotte Hornets, they deserve our respect. They deserve a lot of people.
I'm very interested to see how this Kobe White addition changes stuff for them.
Oh, that's gonna be huge. Him coming off the bench gives some firepower. Kobe White is a good player.
The bench.
Oh, you think he's gonna be starting?
His numbers dictate he should.
So you think Colin Knuppel is coming off the bench? You think Colin Knuppel is coming off the bench?
He might have to.
Nah, I don't think that's gonna work. If Kobe White is starting with LaMelo, I don't think that's I think Kobe White comes off the bench.
He might have to actually. Yeah,
he has to come off the bench. There's no way. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's coming off the bench.
Yeah,
he'll be a good 20-point scorer off the bench.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah. So let me look.
Yeah, because Trey Man can't lead your second unit no more.
No. I'm looking at the conference, looking at the standings right now. The Charlotte Hornets are the 10th seed. They're about 2.5 games behind Miami. So if they can keep racking up some wins, I was looking at.
I think they'll be in the play-in. They'll definitely.
Oh yeah, they're in the play-in right now.
Well, yeah,
I'm
they'll
just saying
because the Bulls about to fall off even more.
They got the Hawks next. They got the Pistons, which is going to be that's going to be a really tough game, obviously. But then they got the Hawks again. They got the Rockets. They got the Cavs, Wizards, Bulls, Pacers, Portland. Okay, I mean, they got a couple of difficult games, but then they got a lot of winnable games. So, yeah, we'll see. We will see. All right, man. Is there anything else that we need to cover?
As far as the NBA, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
All right, then.
The All-Star game is going to be a little interesting because Team World is just dropping players left and right. Shea now hurt. He got I think they said abdominal or an oblique injury or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably won't All-Star game. LeBron is not playing in the All-Star game. It's really going to be just Luka and Jokic out there.
Yeah, the All-Star game is it's dying. It's like the Pro Bowl. It's like the Pro Bowl now, where it used to be significant. Now it's not even the top event an All-Star weekend. Honestly, All-Star weekend as a whole might be cooked.
I think so.
I think it's cooked because this year there's no hype at all. Like the
Because
3-point
if the
competition,
players
the
don't
dunk
care about the
contest.
regular season, how we going to celebrate during the middle of the season when players don't even care about the real games that matter? Don't want to play regular. They don't care about regular season games that much. They just want to get to the playoffs so they can protect their legacy, and then they don't want to compete and do events in the All-Star weekend. Why the fans? If the players show when they don't care, the fans gonna show they don't care.
Yeah, the rookie sophomore game that's cooked. The second night with the dunk contest and the 3-point competition will be okay, but
yeah, the dunk contest.
I haven't even heard any participants for the 3-point competition. I heard some the participants for the dunk contest, but haven't heard anything about the 3-point competition.
That's true. Now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
The skills challenge is cooked. No one cares about that.
Nobody cares about the skills challenge. It's garbage because they changed it. It used to be interesting, but then they changed it.
So
it's over. Over. Yeah, so it's over.
They're just doing it for tradition at this point. I guarantee if you ask players, would they rather have All-Star weekend or just a week off on the season, they're gonna take that week off.
The week off. There's an easy fix. I said it before. There's an easy fix. I didn't see it
mandatory.
I didn't say it on the podcast, but there is an easy fix to make the dunk contest relevant again. Yeah, make it mandatory. Have the fans vote for the players they want to participate. And the players that are eligible to participate, they only could do it 2 times. The first time and the second time, if they get voted in twice. And then after the second time, they can't do it anymore. So that way, people can't continuously vote for that player over and over and over again. That's how I would do it. Instead of, asking players to do it. No. Just like with the All-Star game, have the fans vote for the players they want to participate. And guess what the players do? They go to the All-Star game and they play in the All-Star game unless they're dealing with some sort of injury. That's what the dunk contest should be. That's what the 3-point contest should be. Fans should get involved in who they want to participate in those events. That's how we get the players that we want. That's how we get exciting stuff going on at All-Star weekend. But only have it to where they can do it twice. And that's it. I feel like that's fair. Because these players, they have become so entitled to the degree that they're going to put half-ass effort into everything. And they're getting paid so much money. And Adam Silver has catered to these players for so many years. It's time for Adam Silver to put his foot down. It's time for Adam Silver to be like, nah, we got to look out for the best interest of the league and not just look out for the best interest of the players. No, we have to look out for the league. If the league is going to grow, we have to cater to the fans. That's what it should be. Catering to the fans, not necessarily to the players all the time. And when Adam Silver comes to his senses and says, I'm putting my foot down, we're going to have a voting system where every player that hasn't participated in the dunk contest twice is in that voting system. And fans can vote and media can vote. And that's how we're going to get the people that we want in the skills contest, in the dunk contest, in the 3-point contest. That's how it should go. Not this person wants to participate, we'll ask this person. No, that should not be. We should not be seeing Jackson Hayes and Carter Bryant and whoever it may be, Chase Richardson in the dunk contest. We should be seeing Anthony Edwards. We should be seeing John Morant, Zion Williamson,
Shaden Sharp, somebody.
Shaden Sharp. We should be seeing guys like that, not people that we've never heard of, who's like the 10th man on their team.
And the thing that fries me, it's rookies coming into the league saying what they not going to participate in. Like,
exactly.
What happened to earning your stripes?
Exactly. And it's because of social media. It's because of now the players have so many different avenues to make money and get their name out to the masses that they don't need these platforms. They don't need to participate in certain events in order to get their name out there. But I believe that we need to really rethink how we do this dunk contest. I don't think it's necessarily the format. It's, we need guys. We need dudes that people know, that people really want to participate in these games. And why is it that only the All-Star game we can do that, but not the dunk contest? It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
I don't know.
And even the Pro Bowl, they got flag football, right? They got other stuff as well. Dodgeball and this, they got all these other things that they do, that they showcase on ESPN, and the top players will play in those games. I know it's not significant, but still they play in it. You can see a Patrick Surtain or somebody like that who's one of the best in their position playing in those games.
And even if that's even with the flag football game and the Pro Bowl, they're at least having fun. It's not that entertaining to watch, but they're having fun out there. The All-Star game, they just look like they just did because it's like mandatory. They're just going through the motions on the All-Star game. It's like, this is so lame.
It is.
I get more excitement watching the CPU play on 2K than watching the All-Star game.
Seems like they're too scared to make a mistake.
That's the problem. These players care too much what social media say.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to compete. I don't want to get embarrassed, bro.
And they're probably
getting clowned on by a bunch of non-athlete teenagers and hating grown folks shouldn't move the needle that much for you, buddy.
Like, I remember
these folks can't even make an opposite hand layup, and you worried about their opinions on a dunk contest?
Yeah. They got to change something, bro. Like, there needs to be a voting system for these things now. Like, you have to make it mandatory. I don't care what anybody says. We was in a group chat and they was like, no, you know what that sounds like? That sound like, you know what that sounds like? And I'm like, bro, I don't care. Do you want the best players to participate in those events or not? And they're like, well, what if they don't want to do it? What if they get picked and they decide they're not going to do it? I said, guess what? $1 million fine. I don't care. Like, you're going to do it or not. And if you don't want to do it, $1 million fine. $1 million fine. And guess what the players are going to be like? Yes, sir. They're going to say, yes, sir. I will participate because I know damn well it don't matter how much money they make. They make 40 million, 50 million, 60 million. $1 million fine?
They're not eating
that. That could go towards a stock investment. That can go towards something huge. It don't matter how much money they make. $1 million is a lot of money. That's what I would do if I was commissioner. But Adam Silver,
or you could do it like percentage of contract or salary, like 10%. You forfeit 10% if you refuse to participate.
Oh, now you going. Oof. That's really rough. 10%. That is really rough. Oh my gosh. You are
Well, I'm
ruthless.
thinking from a top player of the league where they're getting 60 some million, 50, $60 million deals. That I mean, 10% is a lot, but
I guess.
I bet they want to turn down another vent. Okay, 5%.
I think $1 million. I think $1 million sets a precedent. I think it's very um easy one of those. It's just I think $1 million is fair. I think that's one of those things where like you hear $1 million, you're like, mm. That's me, man. That is me. I just think the
I
players
just
you
think
got
it
to
just
make it
needs to be put
mandatory.
in contract language. You have to participate.
I think you got to make it mandatory. That's where I'm at with it.
Because like players, like I think it's just insane to me. Players are coming into the league as rookies saying they're not going to do certain things. Like, bro, what we have, it's gone too far. It has gone too far. Adam Silver, you gotta get back in control, buddy. Because the players are just doing whatever they want out here.
And imagine
They
imagine
gambling and
this.
stuff. Like, bro,
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up.
that Giannis thing is egregious,
Yo,
man.
that
That is
Giannis.
that is egregious.
Can we talk about Giannis for a little bit?
Yes, we can.
Because
Yes, we can. That is
bro,
absurd.
okay. So we got a lot to discuss about Giannis. We'll get to the. So number one, Giannis didn't get traded like we predicted. I knew he wasn't going
Right.
to get traded. It's too much that you have to do in order to get Giannis to be on your team. So that wasn't surprising to me. But here's what I don't like about Giannis. Giannis, you know what Giannis remind me? He remind me of J. Cole. He's too wishy-washy for me. Like he keeps going back and forth here. Like he doesn't want to be the villain, but he doesn't want to be the hero. Like shoot, like who do you want to be? Do you want to be the good guy or do you want to be the bad guy? It seems like he doesn't want to be the bad guy. But the stuff that he's doing is just it's not a good look. Like Giannis, you either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. That's what he looks like to me. Like he's lived long enough where now it's hard to really root for you anymore.
Mm.
That's what he looks like to me.
The,
Like
the
Giannis
facade is wearing off.
is very much wearing off. Like um all those cool little interviews that he used to do where he was being all jokey joke. He would go to the press conference and say all these things and everybody would laugh. He would make all these jokes in the press conference and the media would laugh. That stuff was all cool. But now everything that has transpired, I can't really rock with him no more. I think he's becoming a cornball now. That's where I'm at with Giannis, bro. And then the whole gambling stuff. The gambling stuff. It's like, bro, what is your thoughts on Giannis, bro? Everything that has transpired. What is your thoughts on Giannis?
Giannis was at one point my favorite player in the league, and his reputation over the course of this year and a half or so has definitely made me look at him a little differently. Because on one end he'll say, "Oh, I don't want to get traded," but then he'll do like passive aggressive stuff in interviews when asked if he wants to be traded. He'll be like, "I don't know." Like, bro, stand on something. Like you have to stand on something. Just stay there. Like I don't like this old, like you said, the wishy washy stuff. Like, bro, if you want to get traded, just say you want to get traded. It's fine. You want to ring with them. You stayed with them for over a decade. It is okay. No one's going to blame you. If you want to leave, just say, "Hey, my time here is up. The team direction is not going in the direction. I want to request a trade." No one's going to blame you. But this whole like gimmick he's trying to keep up and image, he's like, bro, we people are seeing through that, bro. And it's annoying. It's annoying. This song getting like it's so annoying. I don't want to hear nothing about it no more at this point. Unless a trade is really about to get finalized, I don't want to hear anything about Giannis in regards to no possible trade or anything. Because he's clearly not willing to come out to the media and declare he wants to get traded. So let's just not talk about it.
How did
From
you
now
feel
on,
about? Oh, that brings up a great point. You brought up reports. Shams, he has been probably
he's been the engine of
he's
this.
been yeah. In terms of reporting, he's been the guy that has been on top of this story the entire time. Out of all the media, out of all the reporters, he's been the guy that's been consistently talking about Giannis trade rumors for like a year and a half now. And I just want your thoughts on like Shams, because the fact that we're here and nothing happened, and he's been hyping it up over and over again. Oh, Giannis, he don't want to be on this team anymore. They're looking for trade partners, all this stuff. And at the end, we're still at stage one. What's your thoughts on this, man? What's your thoughts on
Shams? He might be washed, because I literally seen Kenny Beecham, king of the fourth quarter, break a trade before he did. And I'm like, you are the league insider for trades and deals and stuff. How did a YouTuber who just got hired to work at I think he works NBC now, how did he get a trade deal news before you? So Shams, I don't know. I don't know who his sources are. He might be the source at this point. He might just have the number of every front office in the entire league, but he had no. I don't know. This trade cycle was weird because a lot of stuff that went down, no one in the media had it. Like, no one had the media had Cavs trading for James Harden. Nobody had the Anthony Davis to Washington thing. Like, we don't know what's going on at this point. What's the point of insiders if they ain't getting no inside information? They might as well be tweeting with the rest of us. But yeah, that whole Giannis situation, man, everybody knew that man wasn't get traded. He was just trying to generate the hype, and it was very, very not cool. But it is what it is. But as far as Giannis and that freaking call sheet thing, are you serious, my brother? After all of the generation, the buzz about trades, and they literally had a prediction thing where Giannis get traded that had over $23 million of volume, and now all of a sudden the trade deadline's over, and you come out as a partner. Come on, man. That is nasty work. That is borderline insider trading. And the only reason it's not considered insider trading is because Kalshi is unregulated. Because it's a prediction market. There needs to be, let me tell you something. Adam Silver, the next CBA, I don't know when that negotiation is, and maybe I think they just had the CBA negotiations like last year.
2 years. It was
Yeah,
like
2
a
years
year
ago.
or 2 years
The next
ago.
one where it's time to come to the table, you need to make it a point that any involvement in gambling or prediction, anything of the sorts, is automatic grounds for suspension or being barred from the league, because that is ridiculous. There shouldn't be any athletes in no gambling promos. I shouldn't see LeBron James in no DraftKings commercial. I shouldn't see none of that. That is ridiculous. Oh, it's different because it's regulated. I don't care if it's regulated. Players should not be promoting gambling or any prediction markets or anything like that. That is a slippery slope. And isn't it funny how all of this stuff happened and the increasing of players gambling on games, doing shady stuff behind the scenes and getting investigated by the feds and all kind of stuff, that it has been on a rise now? Come on, this isn't all a coincidence, bro. This is enabling. Players think, oh, if I could get a little DraftKings promo or sponsorship, shoot, maybe I could get away with doing a little under the table gambling, have my family members gamble, and then I'll be like, oh no, I'm hurt, I can't play anymore. The under hit. Like, come on, man. It's ridiculous.
This isn't
there needs
just
to
a
be
problem.
clear-cut rule contract language that says your contract can be voided or you will be barred or suspended from the league if you participate in this stuff.
And this isn't even just a problem in the NBA, it's in the NFL, because there was a tweet from not DraftKings, it was another gambling company that is FanDuel, I think it was. It may have been FanDuel, where, remember, it was the Rams versus Falcons game. And they tweeted about, oh, Matthew Stafford, he lost the MVP. And it was like a picture of him. Remember, he threw a pick six or something like that.
Yeah.
And they tweeted about it. And then all of a sudden, a couple of nights ago, we find out that no, Matthew Stafford did win the MVP. So these gambling companies, they hold a lot of power and a lot of weight. And with the NBA, just speaking on the NBA, because you mentioned the CBA, they won't be able to renegotiate until after the 28-29 season. So we're going to have to wait until the year of 2029 before they can renegotiate for a new CBA contract. So we're going to see more of this type of stuff. It's going to be a while. We're going to have to wait.
That's ridiculous, man. That whole call sheet thing, that is nasty work from Giannis. I don't know who is advising him to do these kind of. They need to be fired. That is a terrible look.
Yeah. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode of Courtside Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials, and we will see you all in the next episode of the Courtside Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Salute.